All right, and we're live once again. Good lord. Okay. Luvion, how's it going, man? How you doing? Dr. Z, wrong. Devil, Mr. Loki, Captain Panda, how y'all doing? Can I get it? What is it in this scenario? Can I get the crown today? Oh, I mean, you have one of them. The crown you can take from Pushkar. You're gonna have to fight him for it. Sure. I always start early, Queen. What are you talking about? Whoa. Okay. Superman was so peak. It was good. Okay, that's good, man. Okay, I'm so glad. Oh man, because if this Superman movie failed, then we weren't getting another Superman for like 20 years. So I am so glad. I've seen the reviews are generally pretty good. So like I'm really excited for that because again, like I love DC way more than Marvel. People are crazy. Okay, let's see. Superman reviews. 4.1. That's great. I just can't accept anything new, even if it's good. Again, my problem with the previous Superman, the Snyder verse, Zack Snyder, right, was that it didn't really get what Superman was. The Superman was basically like a dark version. It was like a little bit better version of Batman. That's not who Superman is. Superman and Batman are basically diametrically opposed. I hated this. I know, right? Because he didn't understand fundamentally what Superman was. Pushkar, how's it going, man? How you doing? You still retained your crown from before. Nightwalker, how's it going, guys? 95 popcorn meter? Goddamn. 95, that's crazy. 82 for critics. Pulling off the heroic feat of fleshing out a dynamic new world while putting its champions big, beating hard front and center, the Superman flies high as a man of tomorrow, grounded in the here and now. That is beautiful. That's what you want to see. All Snyder knows. Yeah, exactly. Like, Snyder doesn't understand. That's not who Superman is. Superman doesn't care about how cool he looks. Superman, by definition, is supposed to look a little silly. He's supposed to look a little silly because it's supposed to make you forget that this man is fucking a god. Because that man could destroy the planet if he like wanted to in like 8 minutes. There's nothing. As ChatGPT. Yes, Pushkar, I did see that. Yes, I did see that. Thank you so much. I will look into it a little bit more. From my understanding, though, it would require me to have a text file with all the chapter names, which I obviously don't want to do because then I'm going to be spoiled on certain stuff, I'm sure. Snyder, exactly, Queen. Superman was never supposed to be that. He was never supposed to be like, oh, I'm really cool, look how strong I am. That's not who he is. His whole thing is like, hey, don't take me too seriously. Because instinctively, because of his powers, everyone would be like, holy shit, this guy's a fucking god. So he's like, nah, like, I'm just a chill guy, you know, like, don't even worry about me. Like, we're just having fun. We're always all good. ChatGPT doesn't know jack about Lord of the Mystery, gives wrong info no matter how you ask. Yeah, again, it's that whole, it's AI hallucination, right? Username, how's it going, man? Ang. Shit. Okay, so let's try ROMAN. Roman. You're kidding, bro. Come on. Arthur, how's it going? Samo, how's it going? Angie. Yeah. Big Angie. All yellows. This is cooked. DRANIN. Okay. Okay, that's something. So XRAND. Brand. Let's go! Let's go, baby. I got it before you said it, devil. Haha, fuck you. You did not help me. I appreciate your help, though. Oh, seriously. I got it in the third attempt. Good, jeez, good for you, man. I wrote it before you put it in. No, there's a time delay, bitch. I wrote it before you put it in. Check my second last comment. Maybe Ramiro or other mods will send a chapter file text before every stream. It's all good, Pushkar. I wouldn't worry. It's not that important. Like, it takes like 2 seconds for me to do. It's not that important, you know. I don't want to hassle anyone. It's all good. You guys do a lot, and I appreciate all that, but, like, I don't know. I don't like asking people for help. I don't like being a burden on people, so it's all good. Don't stress it too much. Fowl, goose, doodoo, swan. Doodoo, goose, swan. Fowl. No. Get fucked. Uber, Google, Zoom, Yahoo. Google, Yahoo, Zoom, Photoshop. Fucking bitch. Jesus Christ. It's Dodo. What are you guys talking about? I know I said doo-doo. I apologize. Goof. Goose. No. Dude. Rogs, that's so mean. Uber. Ubermensch. Siren. Foul. Auntie's attention span issues. Still on. Siren, foul, love. No, what? Goof. I have ADHD though. Yeah, don't we all? Do you take anything for it, Dr. Z? Mien. Uber. Awful. By the way, can you guys hear the music? You did I retail 891, Pushkar? Yes, I can in no way function without meds. Yeah, I don't care. It's fine. Trademarks that have become verbs. Silly. Wait, Google, Photoshop, Uber, Zoom. Did I not do that? Oh no, I think I put Yahoo in there. Fuck me. Oh yeah, I should change that. 8. 92. Oh, by the way, does anyone know where I should stop this stream? Because Romero was supposed to tell me, and then I think he kind of got busy or something. So does anyone know where I should stop? Actually, quickly, I'm just going to change last chapter's title, and then we'll get going. 900 is good. Okay. Preferably 1400. Okay, no problem. We'll have to push a little bit, you know, read a little fast, but we can probably make that work. Extreme or shorter stream? About 3 hours, Luvion, so neither short nor long, just about average, I would say. Again, my goal is nothing else. Queen, so yes, my goal is, my assumption is I'm probably going to start work next Monday, probably. Because I think everything from my side is basically done at this point, so they're just doing some internal hiring stuff and then reaching out occasionally for some more info. So I would assume I'd probably start next Monday. My goal is between now and then to get to chapter 1000. That will put enough of a buffer between me and Easy that he can do whatever he wants. He ain't catching up to me. It ain't happening. No shot. So I finish streaming... Or sorry, I finish Lord of the Mysteries before he does. So checkmate, win for me. Will the stream timings change? We will have to figure that out, Pushkar, because these morning streams can't happen because I'd be at work right now. So I don't know. Oh shit, yeah. Oh, you guys are... Okay, so you guys gotta tell me the chapter's showing. Fuck, okay, sorry. Thanks, Kami. So these morning streams won't happen, so we gotta figure that out. Like, I don't know if it'll just be night streams and then day streams during the weekends at that point, or what that looks like. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, we'll figure that out. Alright. On that note, let's, I think we should get started. We're a minute early, but who's gonna know about a minute? Well, I'll be a VOD watcher from now on then. Yeah, I know. I hate doing that because the night streams are generally quieter than the day ones anyway. So that kind of sucks. I mean, maybe in time I can, obviously, depending on when Easy's streaming and stuff, maybe I can stream right after work, so that'd be before the night stream technically, and like it'd be in the middle of the two streams. I don't know. Because I would probably finish work in about 6 hours from now, give or take 5 or 6 hours, depending on the day, if I had to guess. So, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. No, yeah, exactly. That gets cooked for Doctor. Yeah, exactly. Like everything, it's just always gonna be fucked for someone. Episode 4 is in 11 hours for Crunchyroll time, 10 hours for like WeTV or whatever. All right, let's get started. Izzy always streams at the time it's between 2 and 4 a.m. Yeah, exactly. So, like, that's the thing. It's always just gonna be fucked for someone. I don't know. Maybe we can, like, maybe I can switch it back and forth, maybe. Like, occasionally do it, like, at that time, and then occasionally do it at, like, 10. Or, like, at night stream time. I don't know. $8.92. Individual comprehension. Ooh, what are we comprehending? Get up at 6 a.m. to stream? Yeah, trust me, that would be equally bad for like half the people. And at that point, I'm just losing my sleep. Why the fuck would I bother? Best case scenario, I finished Lord of the Mysteries next week. Yeah, exactly. But the chances that happen are, I don't want to exaggerate here, a 0. Neither of them. Cattleya ruminated over the fool's reply, suddenly feeling at a loss as to what the meaning of the question was. She originally imagined that the place that Emperor Rosel's mind and spirit called home had to involve something philosophical or mystical. For example, the island might refer to the divine kingdom of the deities of his fate. The depths of the cosmos might refer to the astral world, indicating Rosel's belief in surpassing himself in the deities, in his quest for a deity's throne. In the end, Mr. Fool answered that it was neither. This denied nearly every possibility, making it difficult for her to think of any answer. Perhaps what Her Majesty thinks is not something I understand. What Mr. Fool is pointing at is another explanation. It doesn't matter if I understand it. I'm only a communication tool between them. Cattleya sighed inwardly as she bowed. Thank you for your answer. How about streaming in the afternoon Wednesdays and Thursdays? So that you can watch it because it's Thursday, Fridays for you? Yeah, cute. Thank you for your answer, she said. The other tarot members were lost in regards to the question and the answer. Although they could understand the reason for the question and could understand what the actual meaning of the mental and spiritual home was, they couldn't make any connections to the island or the depths of the cosmos. Hence, all of them had their own interpretation and guesses, but all of them felt that their theories were distant from the truth. Subconsciously, Force believed that the island referred to the woman Roselle loved the most. The depths of the cosmos referred to the Emperor's late years when he cast his gaze to what he deemed the Sea of Stars. Audrey believed that the island referred to one's island of self-consciousness in psychology. That's what I was thinking too. The sea was the consciousness, and below the sea surface was the subconscious. And the cosmos referred to the spirituality sky that represented the astral world. Hence, the corresponding question became, did Emperor Roselle believe in himself, deities, or purely nature? From this angle, Mr. Fool's answer appeared rather strange. It was as though he was saying that Roselle believed in nothing. Could we do a weekly chapter summary reaction on significant stuff that happened in the week? That's actually a great idea, Pushkar. We could do that. Yeah. But then, dare I say, the onus would be on you guys? Because I'm going to forget. So if you guys would be up for it, we can make like a place in the Discord, maybe like another channel, where like anytime anything significant happens in the week, you guys just toss it in there, just like hey, Derek ran into Amon or something, you know, just like a really short thing. That way I can recall it in a week's time, because otherwise I'm gonna forget, you know. So if that would work, then we can absolutely do that. That would be fucking awesome. That's a great idea. I don't know why I didn't have that idea before. I might be misinterpreting it, but if that's the case, Roselle might seem conflicted based on what Mr. Fool says. But in fact, it might conceal a deeper secret. Tough times if this ancient Ankh has to get a job. I know, my gold doubloons are running out. Truly, Samo, it's cooked. But in fact, it might conceal a deeper truth. Could it be that in his later years he had seen through life and he began thinking about the universe, the world, the deities, basic qualities of humanity, and became a pessimist and a nihilist? Audrey seemed to be training her abilities as she thought with piqued interest. Just step into the light. Very good, very good. That's just it was a joke I made a long time. I feel like I made it a while back, and then I might have made it pretty recently too. It was like the whole like, oh, if a how are like vampires always rich in fiction? I was like, bro, if you've been alive since the 1700s and you're still poor, just walk into the light. So it's very good. Very good, Samo. Alder had similar thoughts about as Catleo. As for Emlyn, he considered it for a moment before decidedly giving up, as he had no clue. Derek had no interest in Roselle, but he didn't break the silence. Finally, the fool, cloaked by the grey fog, chuckled and said, "You may begin." Alder immediately looked at the world and said, "Sorry, your item will require a little more time." That artisan had strangely gotten infected by a sickness, and there are suspicious snoopers appearing in the vicinity. This resulted in a delay. I will personally make a trip to see if I can resolve the problem so that he can quickly recover. We'll try to make the mystical item you need within 2 weeks. I need additional payment for the delay. I'm sorry. Money, money, money. He spoke extremely sincerely as a way to express his apologies and importance on the matter, but in his actual description, he had secretly pushed all the blame onto the artisan. It was as though he was trying to say to the world that if you were pleased, I will teach him a lesson for you. If that's not enough, I will give you his location for you to give him a visit. Bro, Alder's completely content to fucking kill an artisan. He's like, it is what it is, you know? He will just get Alder's characteristic if it's lost. Very good, yeah. Listen, I either get that ocean songster or I get your ocean songster. Your choice. That artisan is quite troublesome. The Hanged Man sure treats this quite seriously. Non-official, or should I say, artisans who are willing to accept orders from unknown origins are rare. If they can be secured, it's best that they are secured. I will allow this delay, but there shan't be a next time. He spoke calmly, but it alarmed Alger. He could almost feel the murderous intent in Gehrman's words. Thank you for your understanding. Upon hearing this, Catlea looked at the Hanged Man, nudged her glasses, and said, "If you are unable to resolve the problems, I can provide some help." From her point of view, as long as the problem wasn't serious, she could even do it for free. After all, this meant that she could skip the Hanged Man and directly establish connections with the artisan. These weekly discussions could be like, which suits everyone. Yeah, exactly, Pushkar. That's a great idea. That's fucking awesome. How about we start from today? So like anything really cool that happens today. Let me make a place in the. I'll just make a place in Discord really quickly. Hold on. Okay, so I made a place in Discord. It's called Weekly Discussions. Whatever happens today that we're like reading, just toss it in there. Anyone in chat who's in the Discord, just toss it in there. If there's like if there's overlap or like someone or like two people write thing twice, that's no problem. It's fine. That way I can just that way we can just have that chat. We won't do it this weekend. We'll do it next weekend because at this point, well, I mean, this week's over. If that's fair. Everyone should be able to access it, but yeah. Okay, great. Alter obviously sensed the true intent of this admiral. He felt that she was planning to severely encroach into his territory, giving him some pressure. He paused, then replied, Then I will thank you for your on his behalf for your kindness." On the one hand, he expressed his close ties with the artisan, and on the other, didn't directly object to her help. Compared to having Gehrman find fault with him, sacrificing some benefits wasn't unacceptable. Catlea didn't harp on the matter as she turned to the world. "Are you pleased with the information on West Balam?" She had already gathered all the information on West Balam that Gehrman needed last Thursday. She had handed it to him via the strange messenger. She was filled with fear when it came to Mr. Fool, so given any other methods, she was unwilling to disturb that existence. "It cost me a total of £300. If it wasn't good enough, I would have asked for a refund," Klein mumbled. He then made the world answer tersely as an affirmation. Then the fake person cast its gaze on Miss Magician. Forrest immediately felt uncomfortable, akin to the feeling of a rat being chased by a cat. Could it be that during my conversation with Gio, my defamation of Dwayne was heard by him? Or is he displeased that I didn't refund him the money? Mr. World, is there something? A commission. Get information on Calderon City from the Abraham family. Most important of all is its location. Calderon City? Why is the world suddenly suddenly searching for this mysterious spirit world? An instruction from Mr. Fool? It's part of his new reawakening plans, Ketlea thought. The other Tarot Club members, including Forrest, didn't know what the city was. All they could do was maintain their silence. Among them, Emlyn had heard of it before, but he couldn't recall any details. Forrest forced to smile. No problem. I can help you ask. How much would it cost? £1,000? No, 500. I still need to deduct the bodyguard fee. Forrest's mind raced as she finally said, £350. That's cheap. Other than the spirit world's 7 lights, perhaps only the Abraham family has information on Calderon City. To Miss Magician, it's just about asking her teacher. It's indeed simple and convenient. No wonder it's not expensive. Klein was first surprised before coming to a realization. He made the world nod and say, deal. Deduct the bodyguard fee? In fairness, she probably shouldn't need to deduct that. But I get the principle, because if I was a mere Sequence 7 tasked to fucking protect a Sequence 5, I'd be like, dude, I don't even know why I'm here, okay? Just, you know what, I'm gonna go take a nap. If someone's gonna kill you, I couldn't do shit about it anyway. Good luck, alright? So, I think I agree with her. Would you give back the money? Fuck yeah. What was I gonna do? After watching this transaction close, Audrey sensed something. Miss Magician seemed to be afraid of the world. She had previously met Dwayne, but didn't know that he was Gehrman. During this period, she discovered something terrifying. I'll arrange to meet with her and Gio at Glaine's place, see if I can figure something out. At this moment, seeing that the world had nothing else, Emlyn hurriedly looked at the sun. Do you have the Sequence 5 characteristic of an artificial vampire? I haven't accrued enough merit points yet. Derek felt ashamed. Or Derek didn't feel ashamed this time. On the contrary, he felt that Mr. Moon was being overly anxious. How could the points needed for a Sequence 5 characteristic be so easily amassed? Emlyn turned his head disgruntledly as he said to Miss Magician, I have clues to the cursed item and remnant spirituality from an ancient wraith. I'm waiting for more information. This might not be an item to give to you directly, but to provide you with some information about where you can find an ancient wraith in the vicinity of Backlund. Emlyn thought and said, £300. This means that I have to hunt the wraith myself? Bro, are they referring to the fucking ghost of like Medici or whatever by the ancient wraith? Because near Backlund, because if Forrest goes near it, she just spontaneously combusts. She just dies. Forrest's first reaction was that it was a dilemma. Her second reaction was to commission the hunting mission to the world. She was certain that he could complete it, but upon the thought that hiring the world might cost far more than what the wraith was worth, she said she thought it was better to attempt it herself. I'll wait until Gio becomes an interrogator. Together we should have a decent chance. Besides, I still have Lemano's Travel. On it is a demigod level power and the Angel's Embrace. There are plenty of unique powers in it, and below that of a high sequence beyonder, it's practically a divine artifact. I have little combat experience, since I'm fleeing most of the time. This is an opportunity. She made a decision and said to the moon, deal. How's it going, man? How you doing? The chapter name is very off-center. Is it very off-center? It's slightly off-center, for sure. Great, thanks for popping by, man. How you doing? After confirming some other matters, the transaction segment came to an end. Klein got the world to beat the hanged man to a punch by looking at him and saying, "My preliminary investigations regarding Backlund's Quaron suicide has borne fruit." $8.93. Still bad though. I don't know. I feel like that is almost centered. Maybe I just am bad at that. I don't know. It's possible. Bro, I feel like this raining Persona 5 music is like perfect for Tarot Club gatherings, no? Am I crazy? I feel like this is like the perfect feeling. Because Tarot Club gatherings are like mysterious and everything, and that's the perfect vibe this gives. I know you don't read the ingredients, but remnant spirituality of an ancient wraith was an ingredient in both scribe and marionettist. It's funny to see similar items. Oh, I see. Okay, thank you. The individual is smaller than the comprehension. Huh? The one that was the most interested in Quaron's suicide was none other than Audrey. However, she had long noticed that Fors had some slight interest in the case. Hence, she didn't ask and had maintained her posture, patiently waiting for the author to pose the question. Fors looked at the borders of the table in front of the world and asked, "What's the truth?" The mastermind behind it is the royal family's consultant, Hvin Rambis. He has another identity, a counselor of the psychology alchemists. Audrey's mind had produced an image of a genial elder. This man came from an aristocratic background. He had graduated from the Birth University and possessed profound knowledge and outstanding insight. He had been a consultant to the royal family for more than a decade and was recognized as a scholar, a good man, a gentleman. Audrey had previously suspected that Quaron's suicide might have been instigated by the royal family, but she never expected the mastermind to be the amiable and kind Rambis. When the world announced the identity of the man, she found herself unable to find her alarm. Hvin Rambis is a beyonder from the psychology alchemists? This also means that he might be a demigod. I've seen him so many times, but never connected him. I always found him to be a scholar. If Mr. World wasn't misled in his investigations, I find it unbelievable that Hvin, known to be helpful to others, would live such a life in such coldness. He coldly made a child lose his father, a wife lose her husband, and parents lose their child. He usually prevents himself to be cultured and loving. Politics is dirtier than I imagined. Eridas gave him this answer, Dr. Z. Speaking of which, I have yet to meet a counselor of the psychology alchemists. I've never made contact with their upper echelons. I never expected that the secret organization is almost no different from the cults like the Aurora Order and the Numinous Episcopate. Our Terror Club is so much better. Mr. Fool is always stopping or disrupting the plans of evil gods. While Audrey's mind was in chaos, Alder acutely sensed the brewing problems in Backlund's climate. He could tell that various factions were interlinked, that there were many secrets. They had formed massive buckets of explosives that could explode at any time. The nobles, royal families, Church of Storms, Evernight, Church of Steam, the burgeoning rich, the commoners who lived on the precipice, and the lowest class who lived abject lives. The revolution is coming. To think that I didn't recognize this at all. I simply believe that Kilongos' words and the evidence he showed, an epoch where the old gods fade and the new gods arise, is about to descend. True, and the fool is going to be the greatest of the new gods. The tides of history are roaring in an unstoppable manner. Alger sighed, seemingly seeing the tall Gothic bell tower and the bell of order that hung in it, and surrounding this famous landmark, swirls of wind were materializing as the light darkened. Alder suddenly had a theory. What arises now might not be a new god, but an ancient god from an even more remote age. ASG's coming back. Oh, we're cooked. At that moment, he had a baffling feeling that his ambition and goals were too puny. He only wanted to become an archbishop of the Church of Storm, a saint. In this position, he would have authority in the world and could direct many things in secret. Klein blocked that an ancient power is steering from slumber. Oh, yeah. Man, Klein's words are like gospel in this fucking thing. Since the old gods are fading and the new gods are rising, Mr. Fool will return to his throne in the astral world? Then why shouldn't I be considering an angel? Only at this level can I complete a qualitative change in my existence. I'll be able to live a long lifespan. Only then can I lord over people and lead a large-scale organization. Do demigods not have long lives as well? Or is it just like human life, saint life, angel life? Like way bigger. Is that it? As thoughts flashed through his mind, Alder trembled in an indescribable manner. His heart was spewing with agitated emotions. When Cattleya connected Queen Mystic's whereabouts for the past 2 months, she felt that the latter had been spending a large amount of time in Backland. Merlin, how's it going, man? Is something about to happen in Backland? I can try asking when I write this time. I wonder what response Her Majesty will give. Cattleya nudged her heavy glasses on her nose and swept her gaze across Miss Justice and the other members from Backland. Fors knew that some of the details of Quaron's suicide. She knew that the victim had acted on his own the entire time. She also knew that the witnesses believed without a doubt that everything was as a result of Dwayne. Comparing this with the actual situation, which had induced a deep sleep of fear towards the counselor, she didn't wish that she would one day find out that her thoughts and hobbies were all the result of someone else. How is this different from being a puppet? A high-sequence beyonder of the spectator pathway is terrifying. However, this is really good writing material. Currently, the science of psychology alchemists already has hypnosis. In my next book, I want to write about a sick girl acting like a gentleman. She uses hypnosis to make him fall in love with her. The ending climax is when she discovers that the gentleman is actually a master hypnotist. What the fuck is Fors on? Klein's sharing of Havin Rambus was mainly to warn Miss Justice. He wanted her to be careful and wary of this counselor. Now, seeing that the goal had been achieved, he said, "There's another matter. Help me take note of Brigadier General Kuanos Kilgore. He's the Deputy Director of MI9. On the surface, he's only at Sequence 5, but he's a Black Emperor demigod. He possesses rather potent spiritual perception and can sharply detect that others are observing him." Kuanos Kilgore. Audrey repeated this name and realized that she had no impression of this gentleman. Either we have little overlap in our circles to the point of just nodding at each other, or he keeps an extremely low profile. He doesn't attend such gatherings often. If I have a chance, I'll ask Kantz. He's from MI9. He definitely knows of him. Audrey was no longer surprised that Quanos was a demigod, despite being a Sequence 5 in name. From her point of view, it was common for members of intelligence agencies to be in such a place. Yes, Pushkar, that one's very on the nose. Fourth wall. I know, yeah, Dr. Z told me about this a long time ago. I didn't even think of that. Seeing Mr. World had nothing else to share, Derek didn't wait for the hanged man to ask. He said, "I made a new friend again." Good for him. The area he patrols includes the former chief's mausoleum. He told me that the 6-member council has yet to open the door that leads underground. However, through the cracks in the outer rocks, there are luxuriant, strange plants growing out of them. They look like human hair. I don't know what to think about it, but I don't like it. I immediately don't like it. Human hair, someone losing control, something, I don't know. The 6-member council has 3 demigods, even if there are some on expeditions and they aren't in the City of Silver. The other 3 can likely control a powerful sealed artifact or have grazed an evil spirit, giving them nearly a demigod strength. Despite joining forces for so long, they haven't managed to open the entrance. This means that it's quite a problem. Also, what's the reason for plants that resemble human hair? One question after another arose in Klein's mind as he waited for the hanged man to ask Little Son. Alder, who finished listening, asked, Apart from that, are there any other anomalies? Is the one in charge of opening the mausoleum that Shepherd Elder Lovia? No, it's not her. The chief is present too. Likewise for 2 other elders. There aren't any other anomalies for the time being. Very good. Maintain your present state. Establish communications with more people. Keep a note of any changes in that mausoleum. Derek hurriedly nodded. After exchanging a few more words, the gathering naturally entered its learning segment. Forrest had planned on asking what the mummy was for, but after seeing the world, she shut her mouth. When the gathering ended, Klein, who had returned to the real world, turned on the tap water and washed his face, while waiting patiently for the night to come. When the time came, he would be riding on a military airship to Desi Bay. Southern continent, Behren's Harbor. As the Golden Dream was cruising south in the fog sea, Danitz only took a few days to arrive at the harbor northwest of West Balam. Northmost of West Balam, rather, sorry. He draped himself in a dark-colored cloak and carried a suitcase. He walks onto the southern continent, which is known to be hot as fuck, in a dark-colored cloak. Is he dumb? He's gonna be fucking hot as fuck. Wearing the sun brooch inside his clothes, he carried an iron-black boxing glove close to his chest. He was walking close to the harbor's roads and was sweating profusely. He felt that he was already armed to the teeth, far stronger than before. Once out the harbor, Danitz glanced to his side and extended his hand to stop a carriage. When the driver saw him, he said a string of words. I don't know. What the fuck is he saying? Danitz looked at him blankly. It took him a few seconds to recall something. He didn't know the local language Dutanese at all. And back when he came to West Balam, he had his captain, a polyglot, leading the crew. He didn't need to worry that he didn't understand a thing. The price of style, truly. It's summer in the north, so it's winter in the north, so it's winter in the south. Oh, cool. Okay, so it's okay, no problem. Give me one quick second. I'm just gonna run to the washroom really quickly, and then we'll get right back to it. Give me 2 seconds. Alright, let's keep going. Oh. By the way, what is a polyglot? Is that just someone who speaks like more than 5 languages? Yes? Oh, okay. Thank you. That jerk keeps wasting water. Danitz turned to gape as he subconsciously said an Intis hotel. The air seemed to instantly freeze as Danitz looked at the carriage driver. He exhaled silently and blamed it on his bad luck before he silently carried his luggage down the street. Dog shit. Thunder, how's it going, man? Actually encountered a carriage driver who doesn't know Intes? Shouldn't people who pick up passengers near the harbor know a few northern continent languages? Lyola, how's it going? There's so many people from Intes, Lone, and Faceac around here. As Denitz grumbled, he looked ahead to look for pedestrians who looked to be from the northern continent or had similar heritages, in a bid to smoothen the process of checking into the hotel. According to what he knew, Barons Harbor had quite a number of people from Intes, Lone, Fainapot, or Faceac who had migrated here. As long as he met one, communication shouldn't be too big a problem. However, Danitz felt that all of this was built on the premise that he didn't collapse from a heat stroke. This weather's dog shit. He looked up at the azure blue sky, white clouds, and the sun which wasn't glaring. Cursing with a warped expression, he raised his hand to wipe the sweat from his forehead. Oh yeah, I guess I should probably change the title. The title is from before. Okay. Despite cursing, Danitz actually knew that the temperature in the southern continent was considered mild to the point that it was calling it slightly cool. The reason why he was feeling so hot was because of the sun brooch. However, having just arrived and not figured out the situation, he didn't dare to remove the brooch into his luggage bag. If he were to lose the item, he could imagine the cold, crazy look Gearman would give. Come on, give me a few people from the northern continent. Any country would do. I speak several languages, after all. As he muttered, he rubbed his eyes. He had finally seen someone clearly of the northern continent descent. Furthermore, it seemed to be someone familiar. He had emerald green eyes, and he wore a white shirt and didn't have the top 2 buttons buttoned up. None other than Anderson Hood. What a coincidence. This guy came to West Balam? Dennis felt delighted deep down, feeling that he had finally grabbed a floating plank in the sea of people. He approached and greeted the hunter. What happened? The treasure hunting hasn't been working out for you, so he began busking on the street? He noticed that Anderson had overturned the hat in front of him. In it were 20 to 30 brass coins. A few of them were Intis coppers, but the majority being local Delexi. Whoa. In Intis, Delexi meant copper coins. Anderson stopped playing with a harmonica as he shot Dennis a glance. That's not my hat. I happened to walk past and saw the hat on the ground. Seeing how no one discovered it, I felt a little wistful and took out my harmonica to play it. To my surprise, quite a number of people gathered around to listen and threw money in it. A boorish pirate like you knows nothing of the beauty of music. I'm telling you, your captain especially likes... Stop! Dennis's forehead throbbed as he stopped Anderson from diverting the topic. He asked, why are you here? Yes, Pushkar, truly. All that happens is someone looks in my direction, I then turn down my head slightly, and then the sheer light reflecting off the bald head is like, it's so bright, they spontaneously combust, like staring into the soul of EBS, you know? It's crazy. It's an insta-kill ability, truly. Anderson thought about it. That's a good question. I have no idea why I'm in West Balam either. I don't remember a thing that has happened over the past 2 months. You don't remember a thing? My last memory was of me in Bayam with Gehrman. After going our separate ways, I had apparently gone to meet someone. When I woke up, I was already in West Bayam. What the fuck? Oh, I think it has something to do with that fucking mural. I think was it Ouroboros' mural that he saw? I think Ouroboros is like controlling him occasionally or something. I don't know. Don't be concerned over such matters, as long as I'm alive. It's almost noon. Let's go eat. I heard that Behrens is famous for its pork knuckles. While saying that, Anderson placed the hat along with the coins beside a tramp to his side. Already hot, hungry, and exhausted, Danitz was invigorated upon hearing that. You know Dutanese? Haven't you heard of my numerous adventures as a treasure hunter in West Balam? That's right, I had thoughts of seeking you out to get information. The situation here is chaotic, and it's dangerous. It's definitely safer with Anderson around, and I'll have an interpreter. I can't say I'm hiring him, because I can't exactly afford him. Danitz smiled. That puts me at ease. Let's go. Holding his luggage, he and Anderson circled to a nearby restaurant. Upon hearing the waiter speak in his native language and seeing the menu filled with indescribable text, Danitz felt a headache as he said to Anderson, I'll leave it to you. I can't read it either. Didn't you say you know Dutanese? I didn't say that. What has my repeated visits to West Balam in search of treasure got to do with knowing Dutanese? How are these guys so dumb and dumber over here? What the fuck? Someone overlay fucking Anderson and Danitz over these two. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Without knowing Dutanese, how were you able to understand the text in those ancient temples and ruins? How did you find treasure? Problems that can be solved with a dictionary are no problems at all. Besides, does not knowing Dutanese mean that you can't communicate with the people of southern continent? As he said that, he turned to look at the waiter and said in the Intes language, 2 specialty pork knuckles. The waiter obviously gave him a blank look as he kept pointing at the menu. Anderson didn't fluster at all, as he unhurriedly pressed his right hand to his nose and mimicked the grunting of a pig. The waiter was taken aback before revealing a look of enlightenment. Then Anderson pointed at his knuckles and pointed at the Behrens labels on the menu before using his fingers to show 2. Fucking some random bullshit, I don't know. As the waiter spoke in accented Dutanese, he repeatedly nodded to show comprehension. By the side, Danitz was dumbfounded. Get this, in this world, there's a common language. Body language. You're such a bitch, bro. Nah, Anderson is a conspirer. No, there is no such thing as a dumb conspirer. I think Danitz would disagree with you. Thunder, there's already a bald Wizima. What do you mean? To be frank, although he knew a little of a carriage drove out of the West Borough as it headed to the south at an intersection. Soon, it arrived at a military base. With Colonel Cavan's letter and a junior officer escorting him, I wasn't looking at chat. Where's the what? With Colonel Cabin's letter and a junior officer escorting him, Klein successfully entered the base and arrived at the square paved with rammed earth. Berthed on it was a dark blue and white behemoth. This airship was dozens of meters long, and its trusses had solid and light composite metal frames extended from it. They were intercrossed with one another as they held up an impermeable cloth as cushions. Beneath it were openings mounted with machine guns, projectile launchers, and cannons. At this moment, the ignition steam engine had yet to hum, and the corresponding propellers were still static. Everything seemed silent. Klein handed his documents and proof of identity to the officer on guard by the gangway. After receiving permission, he walked onto the airship with his suitcase. It was like a ship with three sections. The uppermost section had complicated machinery and cargo hull. The middle section had a hall for buffets and balls. Surrounding the hall were hallways that led to the upper and lower sections. These hallways included lounges, and the lowest section were the rooms for the machine guns, projectile launchers, and cannons, as well as soldiers' cabins. Nightwalker's Kuroko? Oh, like Kuroko no Basket, I see, yeah. Oh, because his superpower is not being ignored. Very good, yeah. Walking by the guards equipped with rifles, Klein followed the instructions as he received from the officer and found the lounge reserved for him. He placed his luggage beside the sofa-like chair. Then he picked up a cup of water on the table, walked to the window, and took in the scenery. To be frank, although he knew a little of everything, it was only really a little. Therefore, he couldn't understand the design principles used for the new airship model. He didn't know how high it could go or how stable it was. Airships are pretty stable, generally, I think. But they're not used anymore ever since the Hindenburg, so who the fuck even knows, or gives a fuck. This left him uneasy. Before setting off, he had even done a divination. He received that everything would be rather smooth. There seems to be a safety belt. This world's airship industry has plenty of years of history. They have quite a bit of experience accumulated. No! Oh, sorry, I read ahead. Klein was about to retract his gaze and admire the decorations when he noticed a group of people approaching the airship. They were men and women, all wearing thin black trench coats and red gloves, carrying leather suitcases. One of them was none other than Daly Simone, and behind her was none other than Leonard Mitchell. While no one noticed it, Leonard's footsteps slowed down as he looked in the midsection of the airship. His eyes reflected the Dwayne Dantes, with grey sideburns and blue eyes. This gentleman was standing behind a window, revealing a genial smile. Leonard is like, bro, I can't get away from this motherfucker. Okay, Merlin, that's not a spoiler. I'm reading. I just read it like 2 seconds earlier. How's that? Besides, I'm still reading it. I'm just saying it to you guys a little bit after, okay? I just like to know what's happening. Sue me. Leonard's expression froze before he composed himself. He had already remembered that Dwayne was working with the military. Therefore, even though it was surprising to see him, it wasn't jarring. The only issue is why he's heading to West Balam so quickly. Amon's arrival has also put some pressure on him? Leonard's mind raced as he leveled his gaze and walked up the gangway with his teammates. Not long after, the Red Gloves took their seats, a deep hum sounded, the rotating of the propellers, and all kinds of frictional sounds were heard. Leonard thinking just a mention of Amon and both monsters. He's like, fuck. And I did Zaratul dirty last time? No. I read it like 2 minutes before I was supposed to. Okay, that's not bad. The only issue is... nope, already read this. After the tremors increased in intensity, it turned into a wobbling motion as the airship rose and regained its stability. Klein had already sat down and buckled his seatbelt. He looked at his surroundings out of curiosity as he experienced a different form of flight. The takeoff isn't too stable, the altitude is rather low, but without encountering any hurricanes, the tremors are still alright. I wonder how it was done. Klein looked diagonally at the window ahead without any intention of unbuckling his seatbelt or walking around. This wasn't acrophobia, even if he had a mild fear of heights. This was because he was only briefly wearing creeping hunger and had the ability of short-distance flight and teleport. He was only acting like a desi tycoon who was riding an airship for the first time. At this moment, Klein's spiritual perception was triggered as he clicked his teeth and activated his spirit vision. He saw the colors around him saturate as they stacked upon each other. He saw bones spew out of the floor. Mr. Isaac's messenger. He has finally recovered from his state of metamorphosis? Klein was surprised as he tried to stand up to receive the letter, but he felt a force pull at his abdomen. He recalled that the seatbelt was buckled. See, like, even that, so tiny, but, like, that's, like, such a common thing on an airplane. Like, you know, you're sitting down for a long time, you, like, wake up from a nap or whatever, and you're like, fuck, I have to go take a piss. You go to get up, and you're like, what the fuck? And it's like, oh, the seatbelt's still buckled. Like, it's so tiny, but it's so... It makes it feel so much more real that this person who's so well thought out and so meticulous will make the same, like, dumb oversights that, like, every human makes because you just forget about it. When he reached to unbuckle it, the skeleton messenger crouched down and stuffed the letter into his hands. Klein was taken aback as he looked up into the eye sockets. He nodded gently as a form of gratitude. He could understand why the messenger didn't appear from the section below, allowing half his body to tear through the floorboards. This was a military ship. Apart from the red gloves, there were probably other Beyonders. They had spiritual perceptions and different levels of spirit vision. They could also barely sense the messenger's existence. Romero, how's it going, man? I don't think that delivering a letter in such a crouched manner is polite. I'd rather it did it what it used to. Klein mumbled as he saw the messenger crumble away. In the huge lounge, Daily Simone, who still enjoyed being called a spirit medium, turned her head. She immediately retracted her gaze and said to the low-ranking officer, "Make me a cocktail, black red and champagne, half each. This is a strange mixture, ma'am." The officer unbuckled his seatbelt, walked to the bar, and attempted to offer a suggestion. "I enjoy unique tastes," Daly said. Upon saying that, she casually asked, "Is there anyone else on the airship besides military officers and us?" "Yes, a merchant. Apparently his name is Dwayne Dantes. He's working for the military of defense." Dwayne, what kind of work? I'm not sure. Apparently it has something to do with the use of the person's experience in the southern continent. Southern continent. Dilly repeated the words in thought. In the small lounge opposite, Clyde had already unfolded the letter and began to read it. It was indeed from Isaac. He indicated that his previous experiences had allowed him to retrieve more of his memories. He had no choice but to sleep and to digest and recover. Thus the late reply. In regards to the spirit world plunderers, Isaac's description was, It's a rather scheming and rare creature. They're very good at disguises, and making it difficult for them to find one thing to make use of is their strong aggressiveness. However, they're very dangerous. Even with a strength close to a sequence 4, one needs to be careful. Otherwise, one can end up as its sole avatar. Its exact characteristic is, I'm not sure, nor am I able to recall where the plunderers are most active. I suggest you pray to Ayur Harson. Nope, Ayur Harson is the guy from Volume 1. I suggest you pray to Ayur Moria. He's very friendly to humans and would be willing to answer questions. The ritual key is the correct honorific name and symbol. Once you have the clues to the spirit world plunderers, you can wait a while. I might be able to provide some help. How can I bother you? Klein raised his right hand and pinched the two ends of his mouth. He then flipped a page to read the final page. Likewise, I will help you seal the glove again. It's not that I don't wish to teach you the seal, but it's unlikely you can do it. It requires the power of the underworld, requiring at the very least an undying. Alright, I should quickly have some free time. I recall you mentioning about Death's Ring. Mr. Isaac's changes don't seem too significant. At least, I can't tell from the letter. Klein then flicked his wrist and set the paper to fire. Yeah, but Dr. Z, Isaac said that even with the strength of a level of a sequence 4, you need to be careful, or that shit will turn you into its spirit avatar. This thing is like, this thing seems more to be like between 4 and 3 than 4 and 5. Although he didn't receive the whereabouts of the spirit world plunderers from Isaac, he could also determine that this descendant of death similarly didn't remember Calderon City. Wiz confirmed that his balding head can combust people with the same effects. Yes, truly. He also guessed that this mysterious spirit world city likely had nothing to do with the underworld. Otherwise, Isaac, who had already restored connections to the underworld, would recall it. Regardless, one should always have hope. I should inform Mr. Isaac that I'm in the southern continent. Klein didn't reply immediately, afraid that the act of summoning the messenger would be noticed. As he turned his gaze, he looked out the window again. Looking at the dark sky with the concealed crimson moon, Cattleya retracted her gaze, picked up the pen, and deliberated over the words. The answer is neither. She originally was perplexed as to why Queen Mystic hadn't asked what home was. Instead, she had attached two guesses. She made it easy for the question to receive an ineffective answer, but on second thought, she believed that Queen Mystic had thought it through way better than she had. I don't know, Nightwalker. I'm just making stuff up, haha. Didn't consider that, did you? Haha, get fucked. This is because this question was posed to a secret existence that was expected to be an ancient god. As the number of diary pages she could provide had numbered about 20, with each attempt giving her an answer, therefore just 3 pages. Even if they were of high value, made it difficult to be equivalent in value to a key question of where Roselle's mental state and home was. The secrets concealed within might be more important than a single card of blasphemy. You disappointed, Dr. Z? I have stopped paying too much mind to that because I have learned I can do nothing but disappoint her, and at that point there's just no point in caring too much about it, you know what I mean? And Her Majesty's question seems stubborn. She doesn't seem to be willing to switch to something else. Therefore, she added 2 choices, hoping that she could obtain an answer via elimination or confirmation. In contrast, this lowers the value of the question, abiding by the principle of equivalent exchange. Back then, she was still young, and she was being educated by all sorts of information. Or on all sorts of information. Queen Mystic would test her and tell her that in regards to answering a question, there were 3 opportunities for reducing the difficulty. First, to eliminate a wrong option. Second, to request the help of some specific person. Third was to pray to one of the 7 lights to receive the answer. Clearly, Queen Mystic had chosen to use the first method. Did Queen Mystic have such an experience when she was little? After eliminating 2 wrong options, I wonder how close she is to the answer. Catleya's expression softened as she wrote, "According to the intel I've gathered, there's a storm brewing in Backland. I wish you well." No, she didn't directly mention the Deputy Director of MI9 or the Royal Family's consultant. After all, that was news shared in the Tarot Club, not something. If it wasn't something she had directly asked and tacitly acquiesced by Mr. Fool to inform Queen Mystic directly, folding the letter, Catleya summoned Queen Mystic's messenger. Bayren's Harbor. It was twilight. Dennett and Anderson found a hotel opened by an Intes immigrant, finally experiencing the convenience of not having language barriers. After putting down their luggage, Dennett immediately headed towards the staircase wearing the cloak and his boxing glove. Anderson leaned against the opposite door and said, "Is there anything else?" Dennett immediately said, "I'm heading out to buy a dictionary. This is way more reliable than your body language. In a few days, I might even know a few common words." Anderson stroked his chin. "Your boxing glove was created by the giant's remain, right? What are its negative effects?" Being rash, often acting without thinking. As he spoke, Dennett fell silent. Hey, have I not praised you enough when you give bright answers? Why do you say like I'm one of those cruel friends? Daly's probe. Oh, we're getting probed by Daly? No, it should have been me. Oh no, Klein, you bastard. To buy a dictionary late at night in a city that's chaotic. Furthermore, I obviously look like someone from Intes. That's dangerous. No, I can't keep wearing this glove. Pushkar! She would for Captain Dunn, so get fucked. Dennett was stunned before he realized that he has to take the boxing glove off. I can't keep wearing this. When he was halfway done, he paused and sized up Anderson. When he saw him wearing a black glove on his left hand, he gave a hollow chuckle. I believe that in the southern continent, a place like this requires strength, Dennett said. Then what do you plan on doing? I plan on finding the hotel's boss and borrow his dictionary. I believe he'll be teaching his children Dutanese. That's an idea worth pursuing. But even with a dictionary, Dunn wasn't bald, just balding. I'm sorry, have we gone from the fact that I'm balding a little bit to I'm completely bald? Is that it now? Even with a dictionary, you won't be able to master it anytime soon. Even if you grasp a few terms, it'll still be difficult. After all, the language here is completely different from the northern continents. Why don't I suggest a solution? Your captain has likely taught you some ritualistic magic in the god of knowledge and wisdom's domain, right? Yes, Dennett replied. Then I can teach you a new ritualistic magic. By praying to the god of knowledge and wisdom, you'll be able to understand, identify, and write Dutanese. I believe in the Lord of Storm, not in the god of knowledge and wisdom. The reason why some ritualistic magic can be cast in the past was because of the captain. Weren't you born in Seagar, growing up in Lenberg, being classmates with the captain? Then you should be a believer in the god of knowledge and wisdom. Why don't you hold the ritual? Dennett asked. Despite being believers all the same, those who can actually receive a reply are extremely rare. That was always the lore? I don't think so. I don't think so. So this is CGI then? What is this? Or is this a bald cap? What is this? No, not a bald cap. Is this a wig? Sorry. The best method is to find a priest or bishop from the Church of Storm. Get them to make some charms. I recall that there's a few pilgrims from Lenberg to Bayron Harbor. Why don't we visit them tomorrow? Dennett was about to say yes when he revealed a look of suspicion. I have this nagging feeling that you're up to something. Anderson's expression froze. I feel like Anderson is still under control or something. I feel like Anderson is trying to get fucking Dennett killed. Maybe not Anderson himself, but like he's been controlled by something. I don't know. My assumption would still be that mural, but I don't know. Well, Pushkar's been typing a lot more than you, username, or Nightwalker, that makes sense. On the airship, Klein had his seatbelt buckled and a blanket over him as he leaned against the seat in deep sleep. At this moment, it was dark outside. There was a little light from the lands, and the scenery swept across. Everything appeared peaceful. Klein was suddenly jolted awake. As he kept death knell on him, he had drunk plenty of water, and his bladder had woken him up. Pulling away his blanket and unbuckling his seatbelt, Klein covered his mouth and yawned. He walked out of the lounge and headed for the washroom at the corners of the hall. After relieving himself, he washed his hands and left the washroom. When he entered the hall again, he saw a familiar figure. God damn, it is hot as fuck today. The figure was standing amidst the shadows, none other than Madame Daly. Klein obviously recognized her as he immediately reacted as though he jumped in fright. Daly walked a few steps closer and looked up at Dwayne's face. "Your eyes and bearing resemble a friend of mine, especially the eyes," she said. "Ma'am, if our genders were swapped, that would be a standard way of hitting on someone." Daly's eyes didn't move as she chortled. There's no need for any swapping. A difference in genders doesn't change the definition of such things. If this were any other time, I'd be trying to trick you into a bed if I had said something like that, even tricking you all the way down the aisle. However, I have no such thoughts at the moment. I came over because your eyes really remind me of him. It's overwhelming speaking with Daly. Whew. I can't let her lead the conversation, otherwise she might realize that Dwayne isn't the Casanova that has a wide preference for a romance expert. Instead, but he's nothing but an inexperienced man in front of a charming woman. I have to take the lead in the conversation. Ma'am, do you like that friend of yours? Daly was taken aback as she pricked up her eyebrows and smiled. That's not something that needs hiding. If only he could be like you, being willing to take the initiative when facing a woman, proficient at creating a suggestive atmosphere. Perhaps if that was the case, we might already have kids. Unfortunately, he's rather conservative. When he chats with me, all he spoke of was matter regarding work. Any hints given to him or any jokes that went overboard made him appear uncomfortable. He found an excuse to leave. No! Dunn! Like, Dunn is now, like, if you guys have seen Interstellar, Dunn is now, like, in the goddess's kingdom or whatever, looking down at Daly talking about him, and he's like, no! Don't let me leave, Murph! No! He looked old, and he didn't look after his hair. He had a bad memory, and he even forgot his birthday. Whenever I thought of him, I got mad, having the urge to push him down. Jeez, I'm not reading that. Fuck that. No, I'm not reading that. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm not reading that. Klein looked at Daly's head with a gloomy gaze as he sighed to interrupt her. Ma'am, you've said too much. I thought you would enjoy talking about such matters at a deeper level, Daly said with a smile. Then why don't you turn those thoughts into actions? I can tell you aren't just a woman of talk. Guess. Thank you for not saying that I've been harassing you. I'm not reading it, no. You want me to read that? Are you guys out of your fucking mind? No, thank you. Are you out of your fucking mind? There are kids here. As she spoke, she turned around and headed for the lounge where the red gloves were. The corners of Klein's mouth curled up slightly as he returned to his room. When she came to the entrance of the extensive lounge, Daly, whose eyes landed on the floorboards, she suddenly saw an untied shoelace. She cast her eyes at Leonard. He has plenty of secrets. He is no ordinary person. We promise not to clip it. Fuck you, Nightwalker. Like, I'm gonna trust you guys. Yes, we can hear your daughter. Unc, go change your diapers. Fuck you. Daly chuckled and said, I know. Having said that, she briskly walked past Leonard and walked to the lounge. When she covered a few meters, she slowed down her pace and lowered her head again. Leonard remained standing at the door, watching the long, dragged-out shadows that were cast from the lights, and slowly and silently. Inside the small lounge, Klein stood by the door, raising his right hand and rubbing his temples. He stood there like a statue. In the Burge household, in the City of Silver, Derek sat on a stool, munching at his bread. I haven't obtained the information regarding the Bizarro Bane that the world needs, and I still lack the points needed for the Vampire Beyonder characteristic. I only have 3 friends. That's not enough. All the clues I have regarding to the former chief's mausoleum aren't enough. Oh, you guys can... Oh, can you guys hear my nephew? Fuck. Okay, let me switch to a different music that's a little bit louder. I apologize. Give me a second. We can hear the child. Yes. As the thoughts flashed through Derek's mind, he filled his stomach and took off his shirt, holding an open container that had been ground from stone. He used the sticky black liquid inside to smear on the obvious bruises on his body. Although the City of Silver only had edible black-faced grass in its vicinity, it didn't only have one type of plant. There were many kinds of plants, all of them being strange. By using different powers, they could grow and proliferate in dark, sun-lacking environments that only had lightning. Interesting. Where is that music playing? I don't understand. I turned this off. I'm so curious. Do you want to see some screenshots of the underground market in the Dohwa? Yeah. Fuck yeah. I don't even understand why this music is playing. It shouldn't be. Ah, here it is. Okay, got it. Haha. You got there. Wow, that is light as fuck. Okay. By using different types of plants, they could grow and proliferate in the dark, sun-lacking environment that only had lightning. One of the traditions of the City of Silver was to select different plants and mix them with organs of monsters to create various kinds of ointment. They were especially effective when treating most injuries and illnesses. It prevented the residents from dying from trivial problems. They were simplified versions of the magical medicine, holy ointment, and essential oil formulas that generations of demon hunters obtained. Just after Derek applied the ointment and took a whiff of the pungent smell before putting on his clothes, he heard a knock at the door. His mind tensed up as he held his axe. As he held his dark blue hammer, Thunder God's roar. He approached the door. Who is it? Valor. At the same time, bright light beamed its way through the door cracks, the power of a Dawn Paladin. Valor, aren't you leading the patrol team today? Valor stood at 2.2 meters tall and was recently befriended by Derek. Derek was also impressed by him because Valor was able to rein in his powers to a great extent, and was a person who took very good care of his companions. In addition, his patrol team's area included the former chief's mausoleum. The six-member council has just ordered our team to skip the area regarding the former chief's mausoleum, and that area is the last spot of our patrol mission. Let's go to the training field and get some exercise. The 6-member council has ignored, has specially ordered the team to skip that area. They plan to open the mausoleum today. Oh, Derek was alarmed. Just as he hesitantly wore his clothes in preparation to join Valor in the training field, a shadow grew out from the dark ends of the street and said, "Derek Burge, the chief has requested you to visit him at the spire." When I get trapped in the non-linear timeline, I get into the rankings? True. Well, yeah, because you get double XP, right? Oh, what are we going to find in this mausoleum? Open the mausoleum and let out Amon's true body, which has been hidden here, or some bullshit. I don't know. At the top of the spire. Wait, Dr. Z is not even on the leaderboard. Why are you mad at her? Push cars first. At the top of the spire, in the room that belongs to the chief. Derek bowed at the demon hunter, who nodded gently and pointed diagonally to the items on the table. Do you still remember them? His eyes reflected 2 translucent worms. Worms of time. They were translucent worms of time with rings. They were worms of time that came from the blasphemer Amon's avatar. Yes. Derek fell silent for a second before instinctively answering. They were left behind by Amon. One of them was even coughed out by you, the chief nodded. You once said that while being possessed by Amon, you were in a daze, as though you were in a dream, but you were occasionally lucid. Derek nodded. I believe I haven't told you the things you did during those times. You did a total of 2 rituals. One of them had elements of a secret deed, and the other was like a sacrifice. You obtained a reply. Do you have any recollections of the dream? Indeed, I was being monitored when I sought Mr. Fool's help and used the secret deed ritual to cleanse the avatar. I don't have any recollections, Derek pretended. Colin, who was observing him through the corner of his eye, said, "Try recalling it carefully." These 2 worms left behind by Amon are materials of great value. I've been trying to think of ways to use them. If I can make them into items, they might be trump cards that no one else knows. It can play a crucial role. During the rituals you experienced, you might have symbols, ancient incantations, or elements that can be used as reference. Think about it carefully. If this were in the past, Derek would have only understood the chief's words, but at this moment he was able to interpret the hidden indirect meaning. I know there's still a few connections between you and Amon. We will be opening the mausoleum to the former chief of City of Silver's chief. I need to prepare additional trump cards against any unexpected accidents or cause that Lovia and company to use to inflict any harm to the City of Silver. Try attempting communication. Upon realizing that the chief's goal was to limit the elder Lovia and how she represented the fallen creator, he felt that he needed to do something. However, he could provide 0 clues on how to use the Worm of Time. All he could do was consider praying to the Fool and see if he could provide his help. I'll try my best. I need a silent room, Derek spoke, deliberating over his words. What are your thoughts on Elder Lovia? I think we get rid of all this subtext of like, okay, like we need to, limit her abilities. I think we just walk up behind her, decapitation, and we're done. It's all chilling, A silent room, a silent voice. Aw, don't talk about a silent voice. I love that movie so much. Can you say what this move of the chief symbolizes? Probably the chief understands that, like, hey, he probably does know He probably does know, like, a god that's replying to him. As for why he's not telling us, it's obvious enough, because we think he's a fucking heretic and burn him at the stake. So, let's just see if we can, let's just see if you can reach out to this god or this existence of yours to help us out a bit. Huh. Colin was prepared as he pointed to the corridor. Many of the rooms across the corridor are empty. Choose one yourself. Yes, Your Excellency. Derek walked out, locked the door, and prayed silently. Desi Bay, Eskelson Harbor. The chief was playing both sides with Derek and Lovia, seeking to harvest the most benefit from both. Yeah, I know, but I feel like at this point it should be understood that Lovia is evil. Anyone who uses the power of a fucking shepherd is evil. You graze souls. That is insanity. Desi Bay, Eskelson Harbor. Klein left the airship with his suitcase in hand, prepared to head to the city on a carriage. As for Daly, Leonard, and the other Red Gloves, they were the first batch to leave the airship. Klein had been arranged to be one of the last, hence they didn't meet. After entering the city and finding a hotel to stay in, he prepared to have some rest to remedy the poor sleep he had last night. Suddenly, he heard the illusory stacked pleas. Sounds like the little sun. Klein then went above the grey fog and touched the star representing the sun. The City of Silver, is asking what he thinks to be Amon on how to use a Worm of Time charm. Wait, I'm sure there are good shepherds. Also, Olivia agrees as monsters, not people. How do we know this? Thankfully, I had such a question before and got an answer. However, using the Worms of Time to create a charm can temporarily exchange fates will require him to pray to the Fool. Wouldn't this expose the fact that the one backing the little sun isn't Amon, but some unknown existence? Klein tapped the edge of the table and considered how to answer. He quickly reframed his line of thought and discovered that his worries were meaningless. Wait. The chief, Colin Iliad, thinks Derek is still being possessed by Amon? Oh, I didn't get that at all. Okay. Firstly, apart from Shepherd Elder Lovia, who can receive certain revelations from the true creator, no one in the City of Silver even knows Amon. And they might all they might guess is that he is likely the Angel of Time, one of the 8 kings of angels that were by the creator's side. Therefore, even if he were to learn of an existence called the Fool, they will probably believe that it's Amon's true body or a deity that Amon believes in. Oh, I see. Okay. Secondly, the honorific name of the Fool is no longer a secret to the true creator. Blasphemer Amon and the Shepherd Elder Lovia. It doesn't matter if more people from the City of Silver learn of it. Thirdly, the chief named Colin Iliad is only a demon hunter. He's only a sequence 4. What a fucking loser. Even if he knows of the name of the Fool and has a grade 0 artifact, there's nothing he can do. After all, Amon and the true creator haven't been knocking at my door in the middle of the night. Finally, the 6-member council's chief is long aware of the problem with the little sun, and he hasn't made it obvious. As his thoughts raced, he felt that he needed to be a little bolder. Perhaps I can use this opportunity to develop 1 or 2 believers. Little Sun won't have to fight alone in the future. Besides, I've already improved since the time when I wiped away Amon's avatar. I've accumulated even deeper knowledge in mysticism, and I wield the Sea God Scepter and can stir even more of the powers of the Grey Fog. I don't have to worry about missing anything when facing a mirrored Sequence 4 demigod. As long as I don't rashly pull him above the Grey Fog, Klein quickly made up his mind and cast his method to creating the Fate Siphon charm into the Crimson Star representing the sun. The first time Klein was so scared of the chief, saying he can destroy... Exactly, now he's like a mere Sequence 4 demon hunter. I wiped my ass with that. The sound of knocking resonated in the chief's room. "Come on in," he said. "Your Excellency, I've recalled some vague details." "What are they?" The chief nodded. "Use pure silver and mercury as materials." I think I muttered an honorific name back then. The fool that doesn't belong to this era. Colin narrowed his eyes and cut him off. "The corresponding symbols are the ones left on the candle?" "Yes, the second line is the mysterious ruler above the Grey Fog." Colin cut him off again. "There's no need for any other materials?" "No." Only then did he realize that the chief was apparently deliberately stopping him from reciting the fool's honorific name. "Yes, our language is Jotun, a language that can stir the powers of nature. If I were to directly say the honorific name, it would result in all kinds of unknown effects. I know that Mr. Fool is a true deity and trustworthy, so I was reciting it habitually, but the chief doesn't know that. The third line is the King of Yellow and Black who wields good luck." "Very good," Colin nodded. "Although I cannot be sure that the content you recall of is of any use, it's still a sizable contribution. I'll get someone to add it to your contribution. Return, or go to the library to read some books." "Yes, Your Excellency." Derek wore a deadpan expression as he silently heaved a sigh of relief and rapidly retreated to the top of the spire. This is a sizable contribution, so maybe he can either get the thing for the world, or he can get the thing for Emlyn. I don't know. Colin watched him leave before heading behind his desk and sitting down. He looked at the two ringed worms in front of him. Colin's gaze remained fixed for a while, as though he had been petrified. After a while, he stood up and took out 3 candles. "Oh, we're gonna get a demigod to pray to our fucking fool." I feel like it's tradition for Klein to always have someone at a higher sequence than him be praying to him, or in the tarot club, because when he was a sequence like 9 or 8, Alger, who's a sequence 7, was praying to him. When he was a 6, he was having Catlea, who's a 5, pray to him. Now that he's a 5, he's having Colin, a sequence 4, pray to him. Once he becomes a 4, he's gonna have like angels start praying to him. After setting up the candles, Colin found a piece of pure silver and picked up a carving knife beside it. He then carved out a palm-sized charm vessel. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay. And then, following Derek's description, he drew the secret symbol of the Fool. The entire process was completed quickly. If an observer was watching, they wouldn't have been able to discern his actions. Yet the final product didn't show any flaws. Right on the heels of that, Colin found another bottle of mercury. Directly using his powerful spirituality, he guided the liquid inside to trickle into the charm and fill the pattern. He prevented the mercury on the side, facing down, from dripping down due to gravity. That's crazy. He can resist gravity with his strong spiritual pressure. This is some bleach shit over here. Repeating the process, he made a second charm. Colin placed them in front of the candles and placed the ringed worms on each of them. What Colin is doing here is one of the most important things in the story. As you know, praying is a one-time thing. As soon as it is done, there is no way back. The connection is established and the corruption will exist. The choice Colin... Oh, so Colin is basically saying, like, there's a good chance I'm going to be connected to a god now who's going to have a one-way line open to me to talk to me. So I might get corrupted and lose my fucking mind. But, like... But in his mind, the situation is so dire that if he doesn't do this, the outcome is worse than that. Okay, that's fair. Compared to him, standing up silently, the present Colin's every move was stable, calm, and firm. He didn't show any signs of hesitation. After finishing the ritual, he took 2 steps back, removed the crossed swords that were hanging from the wall, and stabbed them into the crevices of the floor tiles. He then closed his eyes and muttered. Pure and thick beams of light emerged out of the void as they enveloped the 2 swords with holy and glorious feeling. I am burdened with glorious purpose. As a senior demon hunter, Colin Iliad didn't wish to take such precautionary measures when holding a ritual. This was because there was a tiny chance of angering the target, bringing about dangerous developments. However, he had no choice but to do so because he had to be certain that even if the ritual failed, even if the fool was an existence filled with malice, and even if he were to die at the altar, he wouldn't bring too much harm to the City of Silver. Aw, that's so sweet. So, like, in his mind, it wasn't about protecting him. He's like, bro. He's like, when I became a chief, it was my destiny to die for the city. I got no qualms with that. I just can't have him harming the city too much. He's like, if I die, that's my story ends here, no problem. In regards to the defensive power of the cage, Colin was rather confident because this directly stemmed from the godlike sealed artifact, a crown which the giant King Ormir wore, proof of glory. A crown that the giant King Ormir wore. So this is gotta be in principle on the same level as like Grozel's Travel, because that was like a book made by Ankvald. So like in theory those two are like that shit is powerful as fuck. This was one of the main reasons why the City of Silver could survive wave after wave of monster assaults. With all his preparations done solely with his spirituality, Colin Iliad used his desk as an altar and created a sacred and clean environment that no one could disturb. He then lit the candles. The pale yellow light flickered as they reflected in his eyes. He bowed his head and scattered the plant powder, monster hide, and fur into candle flames, and lit them and threw them into the cauldron, so as to please the secret existence he was about to pray to. Such acts weren't rare in the City of Silver. Known to all, there were rituals that targeted the creator, but from time to time, certain residents would be enticed by unknown existences, tempted to hold all kinds of rituals. Most of the latter was a passive act. There was a few that were proactively done. On the other hand, the cumulative despair of not receiving any responses from the creator had made him eager to grab onto any other existence to rely on. And on the other hand, many generations of the 6-member council had come to a common consensus that the creator who had abandoned the land might very well not return again. Seeking out other alternatives was something that had to be expedited, but unfortunately, such attempts only led to nothing or death. And it was because of this reason that regardless of the difficulties faced, they were destroyed because of the evil gods. The City of Silver continued their exploration of regions. As for Colin himself, the discovery of the outsider, Jack, brought him an indescribable sense of surprise and hope. The encounters when they explored Afternoon Town and the prophecies of the Kings of Angels' ploys in the ecclesiastic made him feel a more pressing sense of urgency. When the two reasons combined, along with Lovia and Derek's abnormality, as well as the prophecy of the apocalypse, as the chief of the council, senior demigod and powerful demon hunter, Colin had no choice but to attempt to dance on the edge of a knife. Colin slowly exhaled, took a step back, and chanted, "The fool that doesn't belong to this era, the mysterious ruler above the grey fog, the king of yellow and black who wields good luck." Fuck, I was trying to do it off memory and I couldn't remember if black came first or yellow. Fuck. "I pray to you, praying for the strength that stems from mystery and praying for the bestowment that stems from good luck. I implore you to make these items on this altar into charms." Just as Colin spoke with a cadence of mystery, he saw the altar in front of him turn dark, as though an indescribable godhood was emanating. What the fuck is the Grey Fog, dude? I'm nearly 900 chapters in, and I have the same fucking question I had in chapter 7. This can't be good writing, or is this great writing? I don't know. Don't you like to know, Weather Boy? Hi, The candle flames instantly burgeoned, but it failed to light the surroundings. Instead, it made everything turn illusory, making countless shapes produce seemingly non-existent transparent shadows. High above this illusory world and the countless figures, there were 7 lustrous brilliances of different lights spiraling. And above these 7 lustrous brilliances, there was an endless grey fog. Sitting above it was an ancient palace. Demon hunter Colin Iliad temporarily forgot about everything else as he stared intently at the scene above the altar. It was as though something that only existed in books or ancient tomes had taken step through the illusory world and appeared before him. If you recalled correctly, this was a projection of the spirit world. Before the disaster, before the time the Creator abandoned this land, it was easy to observe and enter the spirit world. The spirit world now only existed in the City of Silver's textbooks and various records. No one could touch it. At this moment, Oh yeah, I guess they don't have any of the pathways that allow you to enter the spirit world. Cooked. At this moment, a creaking, illusory sound sounded. The ancient palace that overlooked the grey fog in the spirit world opened its doors. Right on the heels of that, Colin saw the unformed charms in front of him produce a greyish luster. Their patterns lit up as they intercrossed with each other, suddenly bursting into a blinding radiance, enveloping the pure silver foils and the ringed worms. The dark world above the entire altar instantly warped. Everything was quickly restored to normal as the 2 strange black crystalline charms appeared on the altar. They were like a pair of eyes of some unknown existence that silently observed the world. Demon hunter Colin was taken aback as he retracted his gaze and bowed his head. "Thank you for your blessings. Praise you." He didn't delay as he immediately ended the ritual and removed the seal. After doing this, the chief returned to his desk and picked up the charms. At this moment, his mind was still fixated on the scene he had seen. They have the ability to, they just can't use it? Oh. They have the death pathway? They have the death pathway, but traveling to the spirit world is impossible for them. Interesting. Based on his knowledge in mysticism, those that were situated high in the spirit world were mentioned to be the 7 lights in the ancient tomes. They were believed to be close to deities, but none of the records indicated what was above the 7 lights. They didn't indicate what the ancient palace, which was enveloped by the grey fog, was. And during the entire ritual, Colin only felt that the fool he was praying to was dead, mysterious, and almighty, nothing like the evil beings. Such a performance had a close parallel: the Creator. Is spirit world traveling? Can't they just escape? Yeah, fair. Let's do a 1 hour break so that I can get my workout done. Kami, we're gonna read for like 1 more hour and then I'm done, and then we're gonna stream again at like 8 o'clock or something to get ready for the episode. As he looked at the charms in hand and his condition, the grizzled demon hunter Colin suddenly closed his eyes as the figures flashed past his mind for some reason. They were his father, his mother, his elder brother, all close to him. This already old chief remained silent before he sighed. It's been 2,583 years. After 2,583 years, the City of Silver received a normal response. Dude, can you imagine how happy he must be right now? In the library, in the steeple, Derek was in the ancient myths section when he saw a notebook he had never seen before. This notebook's cover was made from a monster hide. These monsters were mostly accessible from the City of Silver's textbooks. Even their special traits were the same. However, the thought and experiences from the numerous battles left Derek reading in relish. He suddenly noticed a monster's name, Shapeshifter. Although such monsters didn't come equipped with the intelligence to communicate, they were adept at setting up traps. Furthermore, they could disguise themselves as others. The notebook's owner had commented on them being as bizarre and dangerous. This is similar to Mr. World's guess of Bizarro Bane. Could a shapeshifter be a Bizarro Bane? Derek felt delighted as he quickly read the rest of the entry. He discovered that this type of monster lived towards the north in a faraway city ruins. And the monsters in that area's darkness were powerful and terrifying. Even the 6-member council couldn't deal with some of them. Furthermore, after 2 attempts, the City of Silver paused any exploration of that area. Due to such reasons, the City of Silver's textbooks didn't make mention of the monsters there. He wished to know who had such a harrowing exploration. He flipped to the last page and saw a name, Colin Iliad. Good. Okay, so now he can go ask Colin about it, like, hey, homie, do we have anything of the shapeshifter? I gave you a god. Give me a shapeshifter. Desi County, Eskelson Harbor. Klein returned to the real world and collapsed into bed. To give the City of Silver's chief a better impression of the fool and generate more trust, he had proactively added some special effects when responding, expressing the might of the mysterious space above the grey fog during the ritual. This expended a lot of his spirituality, exhausting him. I'll find food for creeping hunger when I wake up. I'll let it have a good nap above the grey fog. Klein thought in a stupor and fell asleep. He was awoken by his rumbling tummy after sleeping from morning to the afternoon. The little son answered a Klein when he said about Sharon, if they can enter the spirit world, they're not high sequences. It's not Phoenix Pathway. Which is the Phoenix Pathway? Actually, I can probably just look that up in my notes. Give me a second. Phoenix. Oh, Phoenix, death, return. Yeah, okay. Oh, I see. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Okay. How about we finish at 899? Is that okay, or is 900 a better place to leave it? You guys tell me. $900's better? Okay, cool. The ingredients used for Desi pie are much more generous than in Backland. However, they prefer adding some local spices. It felt weird at first, but I get used to it. Clint sat in the hotel while eating the pie and drinking some sweet iced tea. After having his fill, he didn't pack up. He picked up his top hat on the chair beside him and wore it. Klein meanwhile, his left palm suddenly turned transparent as he faded away. Klein had entered the spirit world and was planning to travel to Poto Harbor to seek out food for creeping hunger. Eskelson, where he was, did belong to Desi Bay, but it was nowhere along the coast since it was an island. This was the southernmost island of Desi Bay. Therefore, the second Klein headed for the predestined coordinates, an abnormal sight appeared in his eyes. The spirit world's air seemed to materialize as they spun into a wind. They howled as they enveloped a huge region that seemed boundless. It was dim inside, with layers of dark clouds. Bolts of lightning tainted the sky. At this moment, Klein felt as though he had arrived in a sea that was eternally ravaged by storm. However, he knew with certainty that he was in the spirit world. What the fuck? Indeed, it's just like what the many books on mysticism mention. The powers involved in the perishing of death has not only changed the atmosphere and weather of the sea between the northern and southern continent, but has filled it with disaster and danger. In the Berserk Sea, if one holds a ritual that involves the spirit world, using the powers related to the spirit world, there will be a high probability of an accident occurring. From his point of view, if it wasn't because of this, the various countries on the northern continent wouldn't have waited for Roselle to find a safe sea route before they had a chance of invading. After all, to most high-sequence Beyonders, they could easily traverse normal kinds of natural barriers. Roselle's safe sea route wasn't simply geological in nature, but also mysticism. This meant that since the Berserk Sea and the spirit world were influencing each other, Klein could use the local sea maps to traverse the spirit world. Recalling the contents he had read before, Klein found the correct location and entered the dark spirit world. The howling of the gales sounded from every direction. Even if the secondary gusts of wind left a chill running down Klein's soul or spine, this made him believe that if he had traveled in a spirit body state without the use of the Black Emperor card, Tyranny card, and Azek's whistle, there's a good chance of him suffering injury. And this wasn't the safe sea route. He believed that there was a chance his physical body couldn't withstand the black storms filled with death. Compared to the gales, the dark lightning bolts were far more dangerous. Klein suspected that he couldn't even withstand being smote by one of them. As for the hidden maelstrom and the wandering creatures, they were another form of danger. This is a place without any material seawater. I wonder what's at the end of the maelstrom. Klein followed the sea route. Suddenly, he saw a strange creature. It was dragging a huge sickle and situated inside a black hurricane. It was formed by individual skulls. What the fuck? The skulls were grayish-white or grayish-black. They were from different species and stacked into one, forming a torso, limb, and head. Almost at the same time Klein saw this creature, it also discovered Klein, and the skulls turned their head in unison. Their dark eyes were countless in numbers as they followed and overlapped one another. Run, run, run. We don't want the smoke. The dark eye sockets were countless in numbers as they followed and overlapped one another. Klein's forehead throbbed as he used traveling to pass through the area and enter another safe sea route. On the nearby sea, bloody arms and illusory greenish-black tentacles extended from the sea's surface. Outside the city of Silver, a black mausoleum stood inverted over the ground like an inverted pyramid. They were observing the pass. Colin Iliad had two swords slung across his back. He stood as two other elders of the council. Lovia, with her silvery curly hair, said it should be possible already. Unlike how she usually switched randomly between her two mental states, This elder, Lovia, was now calm and steady. She didn't show any signs of abnormality. Colin nodded and took out a bottle of medicine from different compartments on his belt, unscrewing the lids and downing them. Oh, you guys are gonna leave me in some fucked up place, aren't you? Hold on. Oh, you guys are gonna fuck me up again. God damn it, I just know it. Y'all got me fucked up for real, man. Holy shit. His blue eyes rapidly brightened. His unwrinkled skin had blood vessels protrude. Right on the heels of that, the chief drew his sword and smeared it with a silver-gray ointment. As he took steps to prepare, another 6-member council, Waite Chermont, did something similar. This bald man who had a tattooed symbol on his head stood 2.5 meters tall. He didn't look a day over 45, but in fact he was nearly 80. He was also a Sequence 4 demon hunter. In the City of Silver, due to the lack of main ingredients, and with the citizens being aware of the acting method and having combat experience, they advanced from low to mid sequencers quickly. Sequence 6 were the majority, but from Sequence 5 and onwards, due to the rituals required, the number of Beyonders drastically fell, and at Sequence 4 there was a qualitative change. An entire generation might not even produce one. Waite Chermont didn't dual wield like an orthodox demon hunter. This allowed him to use different ointments to produce different effects so as to handle more complicated situations. Roxdy Zebek face reveal? Wait, really? Okay, hold on, sorry. He wielded an iron gray hammer on his back, and it was a huge bow that was as massive as his body. This bow was a mystical item, one that didn't have an overly severe side effect. In the historical records of the City of Silver, it received its name from killing a dragon at the demigod level. Its name was Dragon Slaying Bow. Alright, I feel like you could have gone with something a little more creative, but whatever, I guess it does the job. After their preparations, Waite slammed the hammer in front of him loudly, drew his bow and pulled it back. Sizzling bolts of lightning suddenly emerged as they condensed into one. As it grew longer from the pull, it formed a blinding, radiant arrow. Just as Waite's fingers released the bowstring, the lightning arrow shot straight at the mausoleum door. Silently, the heavy door appeared to have long rotten. It exploded into pieces. This passageway shimmered with pale light. It extended far beyond what one's eyes could see, giving off a creepy feeling. Colin's eyes suddenly flashed with two complex, dark green symbols, and he reflected the mausoleum's entrance. A few seconds later, he held down his sword diagonally and walked into the mausoleum. Waite slung his dragon-slaying bow, picked up his hammer, and followed closely. The purple-robed Lovia's expressions remained the same as she followed through the shattered door. As they descended via sections of passageways and staircases, the 3 members of the 6-member council didn't show any unrest or anxiety in the completely silent environment. They allowed their footsteps to echo. I can't do manga, Pushkar, especially for one. I don't mean I don't read manga, period. I just mean for One Piece. I've just grown up on the anime, so I'm just so used to it. The river was close to the side of the entrance. Wait, where am I? This passageway shimmered with pale white lights. It extended far beyond what one could see. Colin's eyes flashed with 2 complicated dark green symbols. A few seconds later, Waite slung his dragon-slaying bow, picked up his hammer, and followed closely. The purple-robed Lovia's expression remained the same as she walked through the shattered door. As they descended via sections of the passageway and staircases, the three members of the council didn't show any unrest or anxiety. After descending one level, they saw a river ran before them. It was an illusory, jet-black river. Under the river's surface were blood-colored arms that had been skinned, green baby-faced veins, and slippery tentacles with eyes that were densely intertwined together. The river was close to the side of the entrance. There were figures of different heights wearing old clothes on their back, facing the three elders. They kept walking back and forth as though they were vexed over the crossing the river. Suddenly, one of them sensed the trio approaching and turned his head to look at them. It was an elder, with his hair being completely white, his forehead and the corners of his mouth being wrinkled. Colin's pupils shrank as he recognized the man. It was his brother. The brother that had been possessed by a mon. He had personally ended his life. At this moment, the other figures turned around, revealing faces that Colin, Wade, and Lovia found very similar. Lovia's expression remained unperturbed, but behind her, an illusory knight, 5 meters tall, appeared. The knight wore full silver body armor. Its eyes were blood red. Oh, it's gonna be a massacre. Didn't Klein try to do a divination regarding Azek, and that's what he got? And he got the upside down mausoleum? After traversing the safe sea route for about 10 seconds, Klein arrived at the Berserksea's Poto Harbor. This place deviated from the main sea route, yeah. It's not looking good, bruv. It's not fucking looking good. This place didn't belong to any country. It was free from pirates. When his feet hit solid rock, he suddenly produced a face. But he wasn't in a rush to enter the port city, which had random buildings laid out. He reached into his pocket and pulled out an iron cigar case. While passing through the Berserksea's spirit world, he had sensed Azek's whistle tremble. Removing the wall of spirituality, Klein opened the iron cigar case and took out the whistle. This copper whistle had lost its usual coldness and mildness. It was now burning hot. However, this anomaly was quickly dissipating. Oh, so there's something in that spirit world that's speaking to that whistle. That is where Death died, right? Is that where Death died? That Berserksea? Maybe it's like maybe it's like linking to a part of his soul or some bullshit. 900, guys, that's insane. We're only 100 chapters away from a qualitative change. Once we get to 1,000, not 9,000, Jesus. It's crazy, man. That's crazy. 900 chapters in just under 4 months. 3 months, 3 weeks. Oh, man. Okay. The abnormality associated with the Berserksea is suspected to be the result of Death dying. I still don't know a fucking thing. Legend has it that this deity's corpse and the items are hidden somewhere, awaiting someone with a special key to open it. This whistle comes from Azek, and Azek is a direct descendant of Death, as well as being from the first or second generation. Therefore, this whistle sensed something and was influenced. He planned on finding an inn near the harbor, head above the grey fog, and use dream divination to obtain a revelation. He would then consider the time and method for returning to the Eskelsen harbor, to prevent himself from encountering any avoidable accidents. And before that, he needed to seek food for creeping hunger. After walking down the cliff, Klein entered Poto Harbor. It took me 7 months. No, by the time I finish, I'm probably going to be slower than you, Dr. Z. Because I'm at 4 months right now, and I have 500 chapters to go, give or take. A little bit more, but... Let's say I can get to 1,000 before I start work. Well, that still leaves me with 400 chapters while I'm working. At that point, we'll be down to, like, give or take 10 chapters a day. Less, probably. Well, maybe over the weekend we can read more to average it out. We'll be close. We'll be close. The buildings here were pretty much built like anywhere one desired. There were almost zero planning, causing the buildings to be very wide or very narrow. In certain areas, one couldn't see the sky, only a swath of clothes that were hung up to dry. At this moment, he saw several people gathered at a notice board. What's happening? Klein approached. Its title was The Black Emperor's Crew Recruitment. Black Emperor? Isn't that the king of the 5 seas, Nast? The one that can traverse the spirit world? He's openly recruiting members? How is this possible? Why not, another man said. It might not be impossible. It might be impossible in the past, but not anymore. Why? A week ago, the Black Emperor and lonesome a highly promoted steam ironclad warship, the Pritz, met, and the Black Emperor had many casualties and are in dire need of manpower. Huh? Steam ironclad warship, the Pritz. Am I crazy? Or was the Pritz introduced when we saw Audrey for the first time, when we saw Audrey's POV for the first time after the first Tarot Club? I feel like they were talking about this ironclad warship, no? The Pritz? Is that what I'm remembering? Dr. Z, nailed. Yes. Furthermore, the King of the 5 Seas, he knew the Pritz was stronger than a normal warship, but it lacked any Beyonder elements. Perhaps in terms of physical damage, it was stronger than the Black Emperor, but the latter could use the spirit world to leap. There was no ordinary armament that could damage it. Furthermore, Nast was likely a Sequence 3. Oh, he's a Sequence 3? That's it? He was the most infamous powerhouse at sea. He could directly distort the trajectories of cannonballs. From Klein's point of view, the enemies were at completely different levels, but the outcome was not what he could have imagined. The King of the 5 Seas, Nast, the biggest, nastiest motherfucker, isn't even an angel? You broke a bitch. What about the Pritz? Klein asked. I'm not too sure, but I heard that it wasn't damaged. Only 2 corvettes were sunk. He recalled the situation of robbing the mummy. The military's demigods had used the law that the power of mysteriousness weakened and the real strengthened. Once this came to effect, the Black Emperor was just a sailboat that was a little special. It definitely couldn't beat an ironclad warship, nor could it flee. Bro thinks angel grows on trees. With how many we've met, Romero, they might as well, okay? To be able to get the Black Emperor to flee, Nast must be very, very strong. Below angels, he must be one of the strongest. From the looks of it, due to the existence of the Arbiter pathway, the trajectory of this world's military development remains close to that of Earth's. As for Beyonders below Sequence 4, in a large-scale battle, apart from the few jobs that one could take on, apart from the few jobs that could take on the role of outputting offensive firepower or carry out effective defenses, the rest would only avoid a direct clash. This would then be a cleanup crew or simply provide support. For example, a marionettist with all his marionettes feared no mid-sequence beyonder. But once he was in a battlefield with shells hurtling everywhere and machine gun fire sweeping the area, the problem of being physically weak was a problem. Even with paper figurine substitutes, one couldn't escape the range of gunfire. In such an intense battle, the most effective mid-sequence beyonders are wraiths. They aren't afraid of cannonballs or bullets, nor are they afraid of being discovered by enemies. And they have the Shriek, which can affect a huge AoE. You're also thinking of joining the Black Emperor? Klein asked. I'm not. A man asked Klein. I'm not so sure, Klein replied. I've planned on giving it a try anyway, another man said. There definitely aren't more than 10 people here who are better at fighting than me. I have a rich experience as a pirate. They'll pick me. But I won't stay on the Black Emperor for too long. There are too many meaningless rules, such as not being able to plunder or kill defenseless people, or say something silly. Or say something as silly as not being able to drag a woman like you, unless it's mutual. Did you hear that? Is that anything like a pirate? Although the King of the Five Seas is one of the 4 kings, those rules are just dog shit. Is this fucking Danitz? Who is this? I'm already used to leading a real pirate's life. I like it that way and I won't change. I'm only tempted to join because I heard it's possible for the Black Emperor crew to obtain supernatural powers. When the time comes, I'll leave the crew and form my own. This man spoke excessively. He suddenly realized the stranger's expression turned cold. Why are you looking at me like that? He then fucking died and was fed to a fucking glove. If an angel were to become a pirate, Lord of the Mysteries, Lord of Storm would definitely have someone hunt him down. Nah, I'd win. Listen, you guys can have the best, most well thought out argument, but it gets insta-lost against nah, I'd win. So, what's even the point? The grayish figure, the grayish silver sword for next stream, 906 or 909. Okay, we'll probably do 906, so we'll do like a short reading stream, and then we'll react to the episode. Or I might just forgo reading altogether, go live at 11 and just watch the episode with you guys. Call it a night, I don't know. The silver grayish glistening sword slashed down suddenly, pinning down a blank-faced figure to the ground. The figure warped and squirmed and gradually dissipated into illusory blobs of light. Colin retracted his sword and stood up again, observing his surroundings. He saw Waite and Lovia had finished their targets as well. At this point, the illusory, eerie black river, a dark boat cruised over. Upon seeing this, Colin slowly exhaled and muttered, "Ferrymen." Schedule it early? Yeah, I'll see, yeah. As you gotta figure out if I want to read or if we want to just react to the episode. He had spent a long time with the former chief and knew each other very well. They had both known that the other was troubled by the City of Silver's absence of a Sequence 3 of the Giant Pathway. Silver Knight's potion formula. Giant Pathway Silver Knight. Do I know this? Nope. The Giant Pathway. This is the warrior. So this is Silver Knight. Ferryman. So I would assume this is, I would assume Ferryman is of the Death Pathway? I don't know, but I would assume. I don't think we know the... Oh no. I would venture to say, if it's, I would assume it's of the Death Pathway, and then I would assume Sequence 3 is Ferryman, and Sequence 2 is Death Console. That would make sense to me. Oh, yeah, I do know it. This prevented people from advancing once they reached the level of a demigod. They had thoughts of switching to a neighboring pathway, and this plan had seen the light of hope during a particular exploration because they had found the potion formula for the sequence 3 of the Phoenix pathway, Ferryman. I only need one more, yes. Well, no, I need 2 more. I need 1 and 0. Oh no, well 0 is death, silly me. Wait and Love. From that moment, the former chief began building the mausoleum and eventually took up residence inside before sealing the entrance. Observing silently, with dark green symbols in his eyes, Colin said, "Let's cross the river on the boat." Wade and Lovia didn't express any objections, fully trusting the chief's judgment. They followed closely behind and boarded the ship. During this process, the three didn't show any hesitation or observe their surroundings, nor did they pause. It was as though it wasn't an exploration, but a visit with a destination in mind. The boat slowly began moving across the ink-black water. The bloody arms and the slimy tentacles wildly reached upwards and slammed into the boat, but they failed to leave any marks. In over just 10 seconds, the 3 members of the council arrived at the other bank of the river. There was an altar with a heavy iron-black coffin there. Colin immediately jumped off the boat and reached out for his other sword. Like before, he appeared cautious. Following that, Waite held his iron-grey hammer and landed heavily on the bank. He left the surrounding soil quaking. He looked at the monster skull that embraced the giant coffin, took 2 steps and placed the hammer in front of him, then removed the dragon-slaying bow from his back. At this moment, Waite suddenly felt the back of his palm itching. He subconsciously looked down and saw that the hair follicles had fine, white hair stained with yellowish oil growing from within. White hair. Why do you think like Lovia is doing some shit now? Poto Harbor. Clyde, after feeding creeping hunger, had found a rowdy inn. Oh, that poor guy's dead. He found a room. Well, I guess no, he did admit to doing some pretty bad shit. You know what, fuck him, I don't care. Klein got a room that could barely be considered clean. He then went above the grey fog, sat in the chair, and wrote a divination statement, the reason for the copper whistle's abnormality today. Alright. Look at that. Let's just check if there's no artwork or anything. Great, love that. No, username sent a bunch. Never mind. Oh, this is cute. Check my last comment. What was your last comment? What is your favorite childhood memory that you cherish? We went on a cruise when I was younger. I had a lot of fun there. Like, you know, roaming the Bahamas, playing in the pool all fucking day on the cruise. That was fun. It's really good. Okay. It's okay. Short video to watch. How short is short? 12 seconds. Oh, this is so good. Gehrman. Helene. Admiral Amorous. Helene again. Gehrman. Very good. Oh, that's so cute. Oh. Is this official? Like, oh, that's so good. Gehrman, I will not refuse money from others. It is polite. Helene. Coming back here is the biggest punishment. The rest are just additional. From now on, I am the Admiral. System prompt. You can pretend to be anyone, but you can only be yourself. Wow, that is so well done. And the real Klein is the cat on the toilet? Yeah. This is so well done. Oh my god. This is amazing. I don't even know what this is, but this is amazing. I seriously don't even know what this is. Alright, thanks for popping by, Luvion. Have a great rest of your night, buddy. Or day. This is great, too. This is adorable. Wow, those are cool. Klein, Moretti, Leonard Mitchell, Dunn Smith, Daly Simone. That's really cool. The first and fourth pick remind me of the Fable. Is this from episode 4? What is this? Episode 4 preview? Bro. Underground Market? Oh, Underground Market. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Dude, this is so Bloodborne. This is so Bloodborne. Oh my god. Episode 4 will be a blessing for the cut. I mean, fandom. Oh, this is amazing. This looks so good. Like these cages where you keep like monsters trapped or some bullshit. Holy fuck. Not the best pick, but so wow, that is beautiful. Jesus. I mean, yeah, the quality is, but like I'm zooming in a lot. That's crazy. No, Calvin, I don't think they're gonna skip that because I don't know how they do because it's like such a major plot point, so I don't think so. All right, guys, I think we're gonna end it there. I will figure out what the night stream looks like and I'll schedule it soon. I gotta figure out if we're gonna read or just react to the episode. I don't know. We'll see. That's it. In the next episode, Klein joins DC. Fantastic. Love that. Superman joins. Yeah, love that. Great. He just finds Inzongwil immediately. Just beats his ass. Alright, have a great rest of your day or nights, guys. And I'll catch y'all in a little bit. Bye, guys.